welcome to yet another edition of Science Monitor, a program that keeps you updated on all that is happening in the world of science and technology. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let us begin by taking a look at the headlines. Indigenously developed celiac disease diagnosis kit launched. ISRO scientists associated with Mangalyaan felicitated for Mars mission success. Experts meet in Copenhagen to discuss the issues on climate change. Scientists use nanotechnology to demonstrate large-scale production of hydrogen. Gangotri Glacier rapidly melting, global warming stated as a major cause. And in today's In Focus, we will learn about space diplomacy. And now news in detail. Celiac disease is a rare and hard-to-diagnose autoimmune disorder which has no accurate tests for its detection in the country. Now, in a major step towards diagnosing and curing celiac disease, a novel diagnostic kit comprising 2 tests have been developed in India. The commercial version of the kit was recently launched by the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh. We present you a report.
Timely and accurate diagnosis is one of the basic requirements of an effective healthcare regime. Undiagnosed and misdiagnosed diseases in various disease areas contribute to a large percent of mortality in India. Now, in a major step towards ensuring efficient healthcare, a novel diagnostic kit for detecting celiac disease has been launched in the country. The kit was launched on 28 October 2014 by Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Jitendra Singh at an event held in the International Centre of Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, ICGEB, New Delhi. The new diagnostic kit for celiac disease is an innovative product developed through a collaborative, multi-institutional, interdisciplinary approach funded by the Department of Biotechnology. The kit has been developed by International Centre of Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in collaboration with Transnational Health Science and Technology Institute, All India Institute of Medical Sciences and an industrial partner Messrs. J. Mitra and Company. The team of researchers from these institutes have developed 2 types of tests for diagnostic kits for celiac disease. First is the celiac microELISA, which is based on indirect ELISA. This is an advanced version of the currently used ELISA-based test, which requires processing of blood in the laboratory and highly sophisticated infrastructure. The second is the celiac card, which is a point-of-care test which gives results in 20 minutes. Both these tests are more affordable, rapid and sensitive than the currently available diagnostic kits, which are usually imported from Europe and America.
Whenever, as I said, that when people who have this disease, their immune system, which is a good system, which is make antibodies to foreign invaders, it starts to make antibody to your own proteins. So those antibodies are detected by this kit. So if we have those antibodies against proteins which are present in the intestine, then this kit will tell you. And those antibodies are only made in the body in response to gluten.
Moreover, these tests are very specific to identify celiac disease and can aid in screening of patients suspected to have this disease to provide quicker remedies. Furthermore, this test does not require sophisticated laboratory and highly skilled personnel. While researchers across the world are trying to develop new therapies and drugs for celiac disease, it is estimated that a large population of patients in countries like India are still undiagnosed. In this context, the indigenously developed diagnostic kits are expected to be a boon to the healthcare sector, ensuring affordable, rapid and accurate diagnosis of celiac disease.
Following the glorious success of Mangalyaan, the state of Kerala recently facilitated the chairman of Indian Space Research Organisation, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, and his team of scientists involved in the project. The researchers were applauded and congratulated for the success of the ambitious project. Here is a report.
India is today a nation at par with the most elite nations participating in the global space race. With success in all of its recent space ventures, from Mars orbiter mission to the 3rd satellite in the series of Indian Regional Space Navigation System, Indian space researchers are today applauded globally for their scientific acumen and expertise. Acknowledging the contributions of ISRO scientists in the success of Mars orbiter mission, the state of Kerala recently facilitated the chairman of Indian Space Research Organisation, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan and his team. The facilitation was conferred on the space researchers by Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Oman Chandi, on 27th October. Speaking on the occasion, Shri Oman Chandi applauded the success of Mangalyaan and expressed gratitude to the entire ISRO team who had worked tirelessly on making the mission a success. The success of Mangalyaan gives confidence that if we work together, we can achieve similar success in whatever field it may be, as the minister stated. Chairman of ISRO Dr. Radhakrishnan reminded the audience that success of Mangalyaan is the story of India's space program, which started on November 21, 1963 by launching a small rocket from Thumba near Thiruvananthapuram. With the success of Mangalyaan, the country is today celebrating the 50th year of India's venture into space exploration. India is the first country which has been successful in its maiden Mars mission. With a spacecraft around Mars, India joined a small group of nations, the United States, Russia and Europe, that have successfully sent probes to orbit or land on Mars. The Mangalyaan aims to study Mars's surface and mineral composition and scan its atmosphere for methane, an indication of presence of life. Mangalyaan cost roughly a tenth of NASA's Mars mission MAVEN that successfully entered Mars's orbit on September 21st. While Mangalyaan is successfully orbiting around Mars, it has recently contributed towards predicting the path and movement of cyclone Hudhud and imaging the comet's sliding spring.
Rapidly changing global climate has emerged a serious concern worldwide. In order to address the issue and deliberate on the possible solutions, a meeting of experts is being held in Copenhagen. Climate experts and researchers across the world are participating in the meeting. Here is more.
Rapidly deteriorating environment and climate change is today a huge concern worldwide with serious scientific, social and economic dimensions. In order to discuss the concerns pertaining to climate change, a meeting of climate experts is being organized at Copenhagen. The meeting, which is being attended by delegates from more than 100 governments and top researchers in the area of environment and climate science, started on 27th October. The meeting aims to approve and adopt the UN Synthesis Report. The Synthesis Report will be an integration of the findings of the 3 reports which are a part of the 5th Assessment Report. These reports have been compiled by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) during the past 13 months. The Synthesis Report is meant as a guide for nations working to fight climate change. The study will be published on November 2 and is based on the physical science basis of climate change, on impacts, adaptation and vulnerability, and on mitigation of climate change. The Synthesis Report is being considered as the most crucial component of the 5th Assessment Report and is expected to be the most up-to-date and influential scientific report on climate change. IPCC is the world body for assessing the science related to climate change. The IPCC was set up in 1988 by the World Meteorological Organization and United Nations Environment Programme, endorsed by the United Nations General Assembly. IPCC helps nations and policymakers by providing regular assessments of climate change, its impacts and future risks, and offers solutions towards adaptation and mitigation of climate change.
Hydrogen is the most simple and basic element which can prove to be the fuel of the future. But till now, efficient mass production of hydrogen has been a major obstacle in this regard. A recent discovery by the team of researchers from CSIR, National Environmental Engineering Institute and Indian Institute of Science may be a breakthrough solution in this context.
With increasing reports of rapidly depleting energy resources and rising levels of pollution, the world is looking towards novel, more efficient and cleaner renewable sources of energy. In this context, a recent discovery by a team of researchers from CSIR, National Environment Engineering Institute (NEERI), CSIR, Network of Institute for Solar Energy, and the Indian Institute of Science (IISc) may be a solution. The team has designed a technology to enable the use of hydrogen, the simplest element known to mankind, as an effective fuel. The team of Indian researchers from CSIR NEERI, CSIR NISE and IISc have effectively used nanotechnology to overcome this obstacle. The scientists use extremely small nanoscale particles of carbon and platinum to generate hydrogen. The researchers first collected the carbon nanoparticles that were generated along the wick when soybean oil was burned. Then tiny platinum particles were deposited onto these carbon nanoparticles in the presence of light, ethanol and water. At the nanometer scale, platinum exhibits some special properties. It separates charged hydrogen atoms from the ethanol and then stabilizes these atoms by discharging them. The team was able to generate about 64 mg of hydrogen gas per gram of nanoparticles in an hour at a steady rate. The results of the study has been published in the international journal Energy and Environment Science. Hydrogen is expected to emerge as a cleaner and more efficient replacement of non-renewable resources like coal and petroleum.
Gangotri Glacier is disintegrating rapidly. The report has come from the recent study conducted by Almora-based GB Pant Institute of Himalayan Environment and Development. Here is a report.
In another shocking study that reveals the extent of harmful effects of global warming, a team of researchers have discovered that Gangotri Glacier is rapidly disintegrating. This has been reported by a team of scientists from the Almora-based GB Pant Institute of Himalayan Environment and Development. These researchers have been monitoring the Himalayan glaciers, particularly the Gangotri, since 1999. According to their findings, the snout of the Gangotri Glacier has been melting for 3 years now, and now there is a rapid disintegration on the right side of the snout. An earlier study that was published in Current Science had stated that the Gangotri Glacier is retreating like other glaciers in the Himalayas and its volume and size are shrinking as well. According to the findings, the Gangotri Glacier has retreated more than 1500 meters in the last 70 years. Though after 1971 the rate of retreat of the glacier declined, it is estimated that post-2000 the average rate of retreat of the glacier per year has been about 12 to 13 meters. Experts attribute the shrinking of the Gangotri to two major factors, one being global warming and the other being the rapid melting of the tributary glaciers of the Gangotri like the Ratwan, Chaturangi and Thelu glaciers, which are placed at a higher altitude than the Gangotri and are towards its right. The Gangotri, one of the largest Himalayan glaciers, is located in Uttarkashi district. The Bhagirathi River, which is one of the main tributaries of the Ganga, originates from the glacier.
News, NASA's space program faced a setback as the recently launched Antares rocket exploded few seconds after the launch. The cargo rocket, which met with the accident, was carrying materials for the International Space Station.
NASA's space research program faced a major setback as the unmanned cargo rocket Antares crashed unexpectedly immediately after its launch on 29th October. Antares was an unmanned commercial supply rocket that was launched from Wallops Island on Wednesday. The rocket, which was traveling to the International Space Station, was carrying 5,000 pounds of cargo that included science experiments, food, clothing and other equipments for the astronauts on the ISS. The rocket, which burst into flames just 6 seconds after liftoff at approximately 6:22 p.m. EST on 29th October, had been developed by a private company called Orbital Sciences Corp. This was the fourth cargo bound for the orbiting ISS lab, while the first flew just over a year ago. While the reasons for the failure are being investigated by the researchers, it is estimated that number of instruments like a meteor tracker and 32 mini-research satellites, along with numerous experiments compiled by school children, have been destroyed in the crash. No human casualties have been reported.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be right back. Keep watching Science Monitor. Human Human beings have since ancient times been curious about space and what lies beyond. The history of modern space exploration dates back to 5 or 6 decades, during which countries across the world have tried to learn more about the space and achieved different levels of success. Today, the world is talking about international cooperation in the space arena and space diplomacy. Recently, India also announced the launch of a SARC satellite. So, what is meant by space diplomacy? Well, this would be the topic of our discussion in today's In Focus.
Human beings have always been fascinated by the wonders of the night sky and space. With the advent of science, fundamental physical laws governing planetary motion were discovered and man started its venture into space. The world recently celebrated the 57th anniversary of the launch of Russia's Sputnik. Sputnik, the first artificial satellite which was launched on October 4, 1957, created a new technological frontier, and nations like United States joined the race of developing more robust and effective technologies for space exploration. Today, space technologies are considered the reflection of the scientific prowess and technical strength of a nation. Many countries like Russia, China, US, France and Japan are technological superpowers in the area of space science. Recently, with the success of its maiden venture to Mars, Mangalyaan, and successful launch of the third satellite in the series of Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, India has also joined this elite club. While few nations across the globe are establishing technologies in the space science arena, a novel concept called space diplomacy has been proposed. Space diplomacy refers to using space-related technical cooperation for strengthening foreign relations. Under this concept, countries with technical knowledge and resources in space science collaborate with smaller nations to develop novel technologies and share space-related data. The idea promotes the use of space technologies to benefit all citizens. This is a model similar to the development of Internet, wherein countries shared and expanded the existing resources without reinventing the global information infrastructure. According to experts, space diplomacy and sharing of space technologies and data can play a crucial role in reducing poverty globally and promoting sustainable development. The idea of space diplomacy is very crucial, especially in the context of South Asian countries. While majority of the South Asian countries fall under the low and middle income countries, only 2 nations in this region, namely India and China, have managed to develop robust space technologies. While countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Maldives and Nepal are exploring national satellite projects in collaboration with China and US. Hence, it has been proposed that India and China, with their robust space technologies, provide technical assistance to these nations. In this context, India is already sharing disaster management data from satellites with over 30 countries and provides telemedicine support to Afghanistan and African countries. Such collaborative efforts and cooperation can help create space-based platforms for more accurate weather forecasting, disaster risk reduction, crop harvest projection, and other purposes. Such collaborative efforts can also bring down the burden of investment in terms of time and resources. As a major initiative towards promoting space diplomacy and international cooperation in the area of space science, India has proposed the development of a SARC satellite. SARC satellite is proposed as a common satellite to service the South Asian region involving SARC nations, namely Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. This is based on the fact that these countries share common geophysical, meteorological and oceanographic factors such as the Himalayas, Bay of Bengal and rain-carrying monsoons. Real-time sharing of regional satellite data among neighboring countries can play an important role in disaster management and other areas like navigation. The idea of a common satellite to cater to all the nations was first discussed during SARC meeting held in Dhaka, Bangladesh in April 1998. Though the ideas of space diplomacy and international space cooperation are much discussed, it is a serious foreign policy decision. With sensitive information like the defense systems linked to satellite data, there is a need to promote more cordial relations with neighboring countries before implementing the policies for space diplomacy. However, the idea of space diplomacy can go a long way in uniting the world towards sustainable development.
And what are the contributions of science to this week's history? We shall learn in our next segment, From the Pages of History.
On November 2nd, 1833 was born the famous Indian physician and philanthropist Mahendra Lal Sarkar. While working as a physician, however, he never gave up on his lifelong mission of promoting science and scientific temper amongst his own countrymen. And with this in mind, he set up the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science in his native state, West Bengal. He is also referred to as the father of science movement in India. Geneticist and evolutionary biologist John Burdon Sanderson Haldane was born on November 5, 1892. Though born in Britain, Haldane later shifted to India, joined the Indian Statistical Institute at Kolkata and became an Indian citizen. He is known in history for his contributions to the mathematical theory of evolution. He is credited for triggering the development of neo-Darwinian thinking and is the founder of population genetics. The great Indian physicist Chandrasekhar Venkatraman was born on November 7, 1887. He received the Nobel Prize in Physics for demonstrating the phenomenon called Raman scattering or Raman effect. When light falls on molecules in the air, photons are scattered. Most of the scattering occurs in such a manner that scattered photons have the same energy as the incident photons. This is called elastic scattering. However, in case of a small fraction of the scattered photons, the energy is not the same as that of the incident photons. It is influenced by the energy of the molecule on which the photons fall and is called inelastic scattering. This phenomenon called Raman effect can be used as a tool for analyzing the energy of atomic bombs. French scientist Madame Curie was born on November 7, 1867. She is known for her work on radioactivity, for which she was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903. In 1911, she received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her discovery of radioactive materials, radium and polonium, and the isolation of radium. Engineer Jack St. Clair Kilby was born on November 8, 1923. He received the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year 2000 for his contribution to the realization of the integrated circuit. The integrated circuit is a crucial part of electronic devices.
Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
A national workshop on the theme Scaling Up Good Practices for Climate Change Adaptation was conducted in New Delhi on 27th October. Shri Prakash Javadekar, Minister of State for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, inaugurated the workshop. Speaking on the occasion, the minister declared that the government would shortly be finalizing a comprehensive action plan on the Climate Change Adaptation Fund introduced in the Union Budget this year. In an interesting celestial observation, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory on 25th October captured the image of a gigantic sunspot. The sunspot, which is said to have originated from a particularly large active region of the Sun known as AR12192, is known to be the largest sunspot observed in the past 24 years. According to the researchers, this recently observed sunspot is about 80,000 miles across, which is wide enough for 10 Earths to be laid across its diameter. Adding to India's great biodiversity, a group of amateur herpetologists from Odisha have discovered a new snake species. The snake, which was discovered from the Ganjam district in Odisha, has been named as Locodon odissi and is being commonly known as Subendu's wolf snake after the team leader. The Locodon odissi is a nocturnal and non-venomous species of snake and feeds mostly on shrimps and geckos. In an interesting ecological study, Periyar Tiger Reserve in the Western Ghat of Kerala recently conducted the largest butterfly surveys in the country. During the survey, a total of 246 species of butterflies were recorded out of the 340 species known from Western Ghats. According to Periyar Tiger Reserve sources, butterfly survey is being conducted in this area after a long gap of 22 years. 13-year-old Indian origin student Grant Thakkar from Vapi has won the 6th World Championship in mental arithmetic and become the new world mental arithmetic champion. Grant was competing against 40 young math enthusiasts from 18 countries across the world. Grant Thakkar had also competed in Maths Olympiad in Turkey's Antalya city and won gold in the world's fastest number game, Flash and Zan. Bhabha Atomic Research Center on 30th October celebrated its Founders' Day on the 105th birth anniversary of Dr. Homi Jehangir Bhabha. Renowned nuclear scientist Professor V.S. Ramamurthy, Chairman, Recruitment and Assessment Board of CSIR, presided over the function as the chief guest. Dr. R.K. Sinha, the Chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission of India, and Dr. Shekhar Basu, Director BARC, delivered the Foundation Day lecture on this occasion. Dr. G. Govindarajan, former Director Electronics and Instrumentation Group at BARC, delivered the Founders' Day special lecture. The chief guest distributed prizes to the winners of the 26th All India DAE Essay Contest.
And that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar, C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. And that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned, bye-bye and take care.